There's a funky soul live guitar music that comes in every Monday through Friday live at 5 on the Evil FB Network. YouTube, check us out, subscribe, type in IE Newswire on Rumble, Roy Bleckert. You'll get my nice smiling, shining face. Lots of scores will join the mighty Met KMET at the bottom of the hour. We should have Drake Carty. I want to keep saying his dad's name. Drake Carty will be making his sprint car debut at the Salute to Indy sprint car race at Paris Auto Speedway this Saturday, so look forward to that. Also, we'll give you the latest on the California governor's race. Tulsi Gabbard resigns from Office of National Intelligence over her husband being diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. Lots of other stuff. Well, maybe even get to the Democratic autopsy and the $20 billion the feds want back that California gave away in the unemployment fraud scam, and, of course, much, much more. But lead story of the day, that moron, Gavin Newsom. First, remember, about a year ago, got $20 million or $40 million or some ridiculous amount. Oh, all the oil companies are price gouging. That's why California gas is $2 higher than the national average, and yeah. Well, they wasted that amount of our taxpayer dollars, and it came back, no. The oil companies, the refiners, the guys, wildcatters pumping it out of the ground, the guys selling to you at the gas station, whomever is not gouging you, they're not charging you any more than any other state. The reason you're paying $2 more a gallon is California taxes and charges and fees and stupidity. This stuff is getting flat freaking ridiculous. Beyond repair. Are we going to keep voting for this? Let's get Steve and Chad in the top two. Chad needs the votes. Don't give up on that. We'll see what the ABC 7 report has to say. Here we go. We thought. Here we go.
In the country, and now Governor Newsom is firing back at Chevron for blaming the pain at the pump on California politicians.
And now Eyewitness News reporter Abigail Velas is live in Glendale, where drivers are feeling caught in the middle of all of this. Abigail.
Well, David, Giovanna, as millions of people prepare for their Memorial Day travel plans, they are being faced with a $6 a gallon reality check. Now, Chevron and California lawmakers are pointing the finger over who's to blame. For drivers hitting the road this Memorial Day weekend, filling up is starting to feel like part of the vacation budget. More than $6 a gallon in many parts of the state and well over $8 at some downtown LA pumps.
It's really ridiculous. Even in my car, it's a 4-cylinder. I still spend about $60 every 2 days.
Now drivers are caught in the middle of the blame game. Sacramento policies did this, now you pay more. That message, paid for by Chevron, is now showing up at gas stations across California.
With people that are in charge right now, it's gone up quite a bit, and it really sucks.
The oil giant blaming California policies and taxes for driving refinery shutdowns and pushing prices higher. In a statement saying, in part, we urge Sacramento to take energy policy seriously and stop making life expensive for California drivers. Chevron makes no mention of President Donald Trump nor the war with Iran for the surge in prices, but that's who some local drivers are holding responsible.
You're fighting with the country that we're buying all the oil from. Well, hell, what do you think? Going to go up, you know, it's got to. There's no way around it.
Governor Gavin Newsom is pushing back. In a post on X, Newsom told Californians to avoid Chevron this holiday weekend, saying big oil is already making billions during the Iran war.
I don't really necessarily choose sides, but I do. It would be nice to have the prices go down in gas.
And the timing couldn't be worse. California drivers are paying the highest gas prices in the country, $1 over the average, just as the Auto Club of SoCal expects nearly 3 million Southern Californians to hit the road this Memorial Day weekend.
You can't do anything about it, you know, and it gets to the point where it's like, you know, pull my hair out.
Experts say gas prices have risen 50% since the war in Iran began, and that's expected to continue as the Strait of Hormuz remains closed. Reporting live in Glendale, Abigail Velez, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
And
T-Mobile has the best network.
Yeah, we got you on T. 7, when you shut it off, it continues on the ads. That is absolutely, I ain't figured that one out yet. But how much of a complete idiot does Gavin Newsom think we are? Well, he's obviously thinks we're real idiots, and we've been proving it year after year, decade after decade, going after and voting for these complete moron idiots in California. When do we stop this madness? Now he's blaming Chevron. Chevron said if they pull their 2 refineries out, they're not coming back. If Chevron pulls out, we'll be down to 5, probably 6, possibly 5 gas refineries. Wasn't that long ago we had 50 or more. We were a gazillion times higher. 10 times more refineries. For every refinery you see now, or potentially, we used to have 10. And it's this idiotic policy. We think we're going to save the planet, or we listen to anorexic little 16-year-old broads saying, "How dare you?" Instead of telling them to shut the F up. You don't know what you're talking about. Yet who pays? We do. We, the stupid people of California, are paying this ridiculous amount. $2 a gallon more. And I don't want to hear nobody, oh, Democrats care or all this and that. This is Gavin Newsom in his own words.
I'm sorry. I know some people's sensibilities. I respect and appreciate that. But right now, with all due respect, we're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth. I'm sorry. I know some people's sensibilities. I respect and appreciate that. But right now, with all due respect, we're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth. I'm sorry. I know some people's sensibilities. I respect and appreciate that. But right now, with all due respect, we're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth.
I played that 3 times, just so you made sure you underheard. This little Gavin Newsom makes all the little young ladies or old ladies' knees knock. Oh, he's so cute. That's fine. Just don't vote him in as governor. Don't vote in Karen the Buffoon Bass because she's black and a woman and a communist. We got to get reality going. I think that's why Spencer Pratt's catching on. In fact, I know that's a major reason why Spencer Pratt is catching on. And we better get our act together, trying to be nice on a Friday, before we blow this whole thing, which we're aiming to do. I don't know how we get off on these tracks of stupidity like this. But we better get down to the point that we're not going to do this ever again. We need to vote for Steve and Chad. Chad needs the votes right now. We need to get them in the top 2. Get Bianco in. I think Hilton's locked in. Worry about and we'll get to the ins and outs here in a bit. But we we got to stop doing stupid. Update on the Kyle Busch story. The 911 tapes were released today on TMZ. We have some of them of that. And on this show, we don't sugarcoat things or, oh, we don't want to hear that. Hey, if they're out there, they're out there. Trying to deny what the reality of the situation is doesn't do anyone any good. Same thing with not showing crashes on auto races or anything else. God, we got to grow some freaking balls around here. Here's one of the audio call coming in from someone at the GM Tech Center where Kyle Busch was training or running on the simulator over there. Here we go.
I've got an individual that's shortness of breath, very hot, thinks he's going to pass out, and is producing a little bit of blood, coughing up some blood.
You can hear the dispatcher typing.
Okay, and how old is this person? Male or female?
So that's the first part of that. He was found, loopy, coughing up blood. That's when the 911 came in call from the GM Tech Center, where he was prepping on the simulator for the World 600 coming up this week. Here's the second part of that was released, the relevant part. You.
Is he awake?
He is awake. He's awake. He's on the bathroom floor right now.
Okay.
So when you come in, if you could not make it, can you turn the sirens off?
Yeah, that's fine.
When you get here, and so when you come into the main entrance.
So then the guy explains how to get in there. Said he was on the bathroom floor. He was conscious at that point Wednesday when he was transported to the hospital. Now, from this point forward, I mean, if the Busch family releases what happened, that's fine. If it doesn't, anything up to this point is speculation of how, what, and that. And hopefully we get some answers on it. If we don't, it's no big deal. I hope people don't run with the conspiracy theories of this, that, and the other. Let's wait. If the Busch family wants to release ultimately what happened or why he passed away, then we'll report on that. I mean, if the 911 tapes come out, we'll report on the facts and the evidence we have, not on people's speculation or this, that, and the other. That does nobody no good. But withholding the facts or what you know of evidence on the case or what happened, that's where I have a problem with people not wanting, oh, you can't say anything. Well, once stuff is out there, or once the scene has happened, or the evidence comes out, or the guy flips 13 times down the front straightaway, then that's, and it was broadcast or seen by a live audience, then that's a whole different deal in my book. But there's the update and the 911 call published by TMZ, who put that out. So we have that part of the equation. We will wait for further factual evidence to come in on the tragedy of Kyle Busch, who passed away yesterday at the age of 41. Well, it was rumored that she may resign, and then people were speculating all over the place again. Tulsi Gabbard, Director of Office of National Intelligence for Donald J. Trump, turned in her resignation as of June 30th of this year. she put it out there on the post of why, because everybody's going, oh, for 87 million reasons. She says, I'm grateful for the trust President Trump placed in me and for the opportunity to head ODNI.gov for the last year and a half. Unfortunately, I must submit my resignation effective June 30th, 2026. My husband Abraham has recently been diagnosed with an extremely rare form of bone cancer. He faces major challenges in the coming weeks and months. At this time, I must step away from public service to be at his side and fully support him through this battle. So let's not run with all the goofy conspiracies and this, and she was fired, and all the ding-dongs that want to run with this stuff. It's a very understandable and legitimate reason to resign the office of Director of National Intelligence when your husband, and I'm assuming he's not that, I mean, Tulsi's about 40, so I'm assuming he's in that range too. He's a young guy, relatively, to get bone cancer. But, you know, life deals you some very interesting turns at times. Just like with the Busch family, I mean, that was unexpected. This, I'm sure they probably knew about it, or he's been tested or not feeling well. Abraham, her husband, and this was coming, and it finally got to the diagnosis of, hey, you got an extremely serious health battle to roll, and I would expect almost anyone to not do the same thing as Tulsi Gabbard did and resign the position and be at her husband's side and care for him during this major health challenge. So we wish Tulsi and her husband Abraham nothing but the best and hope for a full recovery on that. And again, let's not try to get with all the goofy speculation and stupidity. Javier Baccaria, running for governor, may get in the top 2 unless we get our act together and start getting some more votes for Chad. And I've said this, the 21st century slaves are illegal aliens. Because they're under the thumb of whoever, the sex traders who just got busted down in SoCal with the Great Bill of Sale. And much, much more. But you put Baccaria in, you're voting, along with most of the Democratic Party, of keeping your brand of 21st century slaves rolling in America today.
Steve Hilton doesn't care if they work really hard. He looks at their status, and that's about it.
Well, he says that they broke the law. He says that he immigrated here legally, and that spending money to give somebody health care is incentivizing bad behavior.
He doesn't seem to mind that the price of food is a little lower because these are the folks who are picking the crops. He doesn't seem to mind that the places that you can buy to live in are places that these folks built. He doesn't seem to mind that they're the folks that are taking care of probably one of his relatives, probably taking care of his yards. Steve Hilton doesn't care if they work really hard. He looks at their status.
Oh yeah, we want them. We want more. We want more slaves so we can be the leaders on the plantation. That's what they see in you. That's Javier Baccaria. That's most of the Democratic Party. That's those who support illegal immigration. That's their mantra. And that's what they push every day. And that's the reason they're pushing it. Man, we are in humongous trouble. And again, I've said it. If we elect Javier Baccaria governor of California, we'll be begging for the stupid Newsom to come back. That's how bad this clown is. We got the shot to prevent this. We better take advantage of it. Extremely quickly. If we don't, we're going to do so at our own peril. You think $7 a gallon gas and diesel is great? Wait till Baccaria gets in there. It'll be 10 plus. Almost immediately. He'll close down Chevron. And everything else. Because he's a buffoon. According to people that worked with him in the Biden administration. According to those that worked with him when he was Attorney General of California. When he was a congressman out here. We cannot be that idiotically stupid. Well, we can. Hopefully we'll prove we're not.
Got 30 seconds, Roy.
I'm hoping we don't. But one can never tell. Sean said we'll be joining the Mighty Met KMET here in a few seconds. Pick up with this and more. Drake Cardion for Parasito Speedway with Salute Indy.
Here we go. 10 seconds.
Hillbilly hoedown around.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
There's that funky slide guitar music that comes in every Monday through Friday live at 5:30 on the Mighty Met 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire in the 4-inch AM band. Joining our vast video audience on the Evil FB Network, YouTube. Check us out, subscribe, type in iNewsWire. Roy Blecker, you'll see my nice smiling, shining face on that. If you want to check out the archives on iNewsWire, the first half hour. Stupid Newsom. Now he's trying to blame Chevron. Why California is $2 a gallon higher than anybody else in the nation on gas and diesel. He really thinks you're that stupid. They released the 911 tapes of the call that came in, the emergency call that came in Wednesday on Kyle Busch. Went through those. Tulsi Gabbard, Director of Office of National Intelligence, resigned. Her husband has a rare form of bone cancer. Very understandable why she would resign and be at his side and help him through that. We'll get to the hopefully the $20 billion that we're still on the hook that Newsom gave away in unemployment fraud and the feds want their money back. Because the rest of the people do not want to pay for the ridiculous amount, for that ridiculous amount. Every other, during the COVID con, every other state, the other 49 have paid back what they borrowed from the federal government. We have not paid back a dime. But we'll get to the California governor's race. Here's the latest numbers from Paul Mitchell's PDI. 7% of the vote is in. We should be at least double that or more by this point. Still, Republicans are still within 5 points. 13 points above their registration. Democrats are 3 points below. The intensity is still on the Republican side a bunch. Now, they're making all kinds of excuses of why, oh, we're going to have a late deal. Democrats typically, especially this mail-in ballot stuff, have typically flooded the market early on. Now, whether it's they're having trepidation with Baccaria or all the controversies or their candidates suck, which they do. Here's another chart from Paul Mitchell. You can see the intensity even on the vote by party. Democrats down, down, down. Republicans up, up, up. It's another sign of intensity. And we can read intensity. We don't know exactly. You can throw the polls out. But Republicans are coming out by the droves and coming out early. They're, as the old saying, what the heck's going on? John Flashman had this on his flash report. You're starting to hear the drum beat again. Warning possible Democrat lockout. There's the Democratic voter. Who's the strongest? Who makes the runoff? Don't know which is a waste of my vote. Who is conflicting? But you see the GOP voter, they can't wait to get their ballot in the mailbox. The feckless five are sitting there, and the poor lady doesn't know who to vote for. So Flashman got on and wrote an article, and he interviewed John Flashman. Why are ballot Democrats holding on to their ballots? New data suggests something is unusual happening in California governor's race, particularly among older Democrats. Typically, California's early vote numbers are showing surprisingly sharp shift, and one the Democratic data expert believes may reflect a real hesitation inside Democrats' electorate. Paul Mitchell, the president of the Democratic firm Political Data and one of California's best-known data analysts, posted a fantasizing chart on X this morning comparing current ballot returns to the same point in the 222 cycle. Strikingly, they're not worth a darn. We showed you that chart. Mitchell's chart shows how the Democratic group compares to the overall return ballots. This is called intensity. Under the message, Democrat voters over 65 fell from 15% to 11.9%. Roughly 20% decline. Republicans, roughly 33% increase. This is what we call intensity. And this is what we measure. They're hesitating. They don't know. They're not enthused about their candidates, which means they might stay home. So don't believe this talk that Steve and Chad can't get in the top two. Chad needs the votes right now. Steve's locked in. If we're going on the trajectory we are now, it's probably going to be Baccaria versus Hilton, which Baccaria will clean his clock in November. it's now more important. Turnout, especially on the center-left Democratic side, is probably going to be down. Republican is going to be on. Spencer Pratt in LA is driving a lot of this. Even if he doesn't win in November, but if he gets in the runoff especially and he's turning out the vote, the intensity is in LA, that's going to help us. As they say, we need to get our acts together. And quickly. $22 billion we owe. $20 billion, at least, we owe to the federal government over NEWSOM walking in during the COVID con and unemployment. You know, people legitimately were applying for claims or sitting on the phone 8 hours a day for a week and not getting their money. They were legitimately American citizens were legitimately entitled to. He's getting all kinds of bad press. He walks in and said, just approve everything. So people from Russia, China, Ecuador, everybody else, people in prison, on death row in California, people in Georgia were sending in claims for unemployment in California, and we were paying them. Here's the ABC 10 report. Hopefully, here we go. We thought.
The only state still in debt to the federal government after a pandemic-era loan for unemployment insurance benefits.
That outstanding debt is in the billions of dollars, and it's costing the state hundreds of millions of dollars each year in interest alone.
ABC 10 State Matters political reporter Jenny Huzz here now to break down what experts call a systemic issue.
The big concern is this: the longer California fails to pay back this debt, the more California businesses will have to pay.
Well, I think it's completely irresponsible that California hasn't paid its debts, yet the governor can go out there and say, we balanced the budget.
$20 billion in COVID-19 unemployment insurance debt that California has yet to pay back to the federal government.
This is exactly what we said when he put out the May budget and he's saying no structural deficit, balanced budget. David Tangipaw, one of the few Republican assemblymen, said, hey, this is bogus numbers. We do not have no structural deficit. The legislative analyst says so too. On top of that, we have a budget deficit today because we're not paying back the $20 billion that we owe the frickin' federal government. So he was lying through his frickin' teeth, saying all those charts and all those phony numbers, zero deficit, zero structural deficit, was a lie.
California is the only state to not have paid that back.
California leads the way, right?
Experts warn the longer that debt is outstanding, the more expensive that debt becomes, especially with hundreds of millions in annual interest.
We haven't even started paying back the actual debt itself. It's all just been interest payment.
That's right. You could think of it as, you know, for the first 5 years, we've made interest-only payments.
So the
5 years? 5 years we've only made interest-only payments. Every other state's paid it all. New York was less, and they were like 2 years ago. We paid 5 years of interest. That's why they're balancing the budget, because they're not paying the debt down. They're paying interest on it to carry it over so it makes the books look good. Well, we're adding
$20 billion debt remains. NEWSOM has allocated about $662 million in his 2026 to 2027 year budget to pay next year's interest on the loan. This his response when asked about it.
It's got to be addressed. It's real. It's something we had to deal with during the Schwarzenegger administration, and only comparable example. And
Schwarzenegger administration, he had nothing to do with COVID. Or you giving the money out to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, not only in California, in the United States, and the world. Schwarzenegger administration.
we're able to pay it back, claw back over a course of years. And I don't want to leave the next governor without those considerations. So there's going.
You are leaving the governor with those. You moron. Holy bleeping cow. What? Nobody should even. I wouldn't care if it was the 4th of July at 12 noon and Gavin Newsom said the sky was blue. I'd go out and check.
To be a series of recommendations and proposals.
So why hasn't California been able to pay back the loan like it did during Schwarzenegger and the Great Recession?
The taxes that employers pay into the fund have not been enough to pay out unemployment insurance benefits.
It's an ongoing systemic issue, experts say. California doesn't have the money to pay the federal government back, let alone maintain its own unemployment insurance reserve.
We are completely hosed. Completely hosed. We don't have them. We're not paying it back. We have $349 billion budget. We couldn't figure out how to. And we've had 300 plus, what, for the past 3 or 4 years or close to it. Every other state's figured out how to pay it back. We're just paying more interest on it.
Drake is on the line.
You got it. Hang on, Drake. We'll be to you in a minute. Yeah, every other state has paid the money back. We're just paying interest on top of that. And he gaslights us every day, just like with the gas thing. Oh, it was the evil oil companies. Now he's trying to blame Chevron or next he's going to blame your grandmother for the price of California gas and diesel being $2 a gallon over. It's absolutely, it's an unbelievable situation. If you weren't living it, if you tried to tell somebody this, they would say you're making this stuff up. I mean, even if it was on candid camera, if you're that old, you would know this was coming and that, but it's real. And that's the unfortunate part of this, is it's real. We got the shot. We got the time. We got the ability. This election cycle, in less than 2 weeks, Steve Hilton's locked in. We need to get more votes on Chad Bianco and get them in the top 2. Then we can get Herb Morgan to un-F California, Michael Gates and his attorney general instead of Rob Bonner suing the Trump administration all the time, pissing him off and stinking us further down the rat hole. It's an exasperating situation, but we got the power to fix it. And we should be fixing it. And we got about 10, 11 days left to fix it. We better get off our dead rear ends this time. Quit listening to stupid and the liars. I don't care how cute you think Gavin Newsom is, ladies. That's fine. You can have the fantasies about him all you want. Just don't vote for him or the Baffoon Basses or any of these other stupids, Corey Jackson or Ulysses Cabrera out here or anybody else. Vaya caramba. Get your friends, neighbors, everybody to get out there and vote. Vote early, vote often, as they say, the old Chicago way. We'll get this thing straightened out. But the weekend is upon us, Memorial Day weekend. And make sure that you know what Memorial Day weekend is about. Memorial Day weekend is about the 1.5 million who fought, bled, and died for you and I to have the greatest country in the history of the world. And never forget that. Because they're the ones that made it possible, despite some of the stuff that we have to endure. No matter what, if you're in the U.S. right now, you were privileged enough to be born into the best opportunity anyone of mankind has had in the history of the world. Don't let it slip away. Don't let their deaths defending your right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to go in vain. And another one of the traditions besides the Indianapolis 500, the 100 and some odd running of whatever it is, this weekend, this Saturday, another tradition goes on. that started down at Ascot Park, down at Gardena, where the harbor, the San Diego, and the 91 freeways explode. If you remember that old commercial from JC Jr., carried on by Paris Auto Speedway. The Salute to Indy will be on tomorrow. It will be, I don't know, what, about the 30th running they've had at that to carry on the tradition that ran about 40 years at Ascot Park. We have one lucky dude is going to make his debut in a sprint car. He's been running midgets, lightning sprints. He comes from a traditional Southern California racing family. His dad won quite a few races out of Paris Auto Speedway in the sprint car division. We have Drake Carty on the line. Welcome to IE Newswire with Roy.
Hey, thanks for having me, Roy.
You got it, man. How did you worm your way into picking your first sprint car race as the Salute to Indy on that? That's a pretty daunting task for a 17-year-old.
Yeah, it just kind of worked out. I had a month break in my schedule for midgets and kind of wanted to get a wheel in my hands and like fill in the gaps. You know, we started talking with team owner Tom Dunkel and Chrissy Dunkel, and just figured out a way to make it happen. And I was like, what a perfect one to do, the Salute to Indy. So I'm super excited, super pumped. It's going to be great.
So you started out in the midgets running for the Dunkel family, which got a picture of you with the car, and E-Box Springs, which has a connection to you, I know. But you won right off the bat in a midget down there at El Centro, and I think you're leading the points out there. Do you think you can pull this off tomorrow night at Paris? Pull off not only your first race, but your first win?
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a tall task for sure, but we'll see. We're going to give it everything. That's what I always do. But first thing, get laps, get all the laps possible, and rolling in the trailer would be a good night. But I mean, of course, if I can get a little extra, I'm gonna go for it. But things are definitely going to have to go our way if we're going to pull one off tomorrow night. But we'll see. Never say never.
I'm just kind of curious. Did they ever just give you an opportunity to hot lap the sprint car, or are you going in this, just eyes wide open? Yeah, so my first lap in the car is going to be Saturday night hot laps. So I'm throwing sink or swim for sure. But I just fired it today, actually. We're on the drive home right now, but we just fired it, and man, that got me going. That was nothing like it. And there's nothing like the first time you flip that switch on 800 horsepower on that. Just wait. And I know midgets are great. The lightning sprints are fun. They're fast and all that other stuff. But you almost said it, but I'd put it like this. They're like this is like just throwing you right in the lion's den. No, nothing or nothing, man. This is like you got a lot ahead of you on this. I can tell you that you're gonna see some emotions and feel stuff you've never thought you would. Oh yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, that first little fire up, I gave it some throttle to see what it would feel like, and I was surprised. Definitely, it ain't no midget for sure, but I'm stoked. So the big question of the day is: your mom going to be back riling up the fans in the stands? She will be for the main. Yeah, she'll be out there. I think we're going to do a little. I run a little thing on my social media called Dirt Mama Takeover. So I usually give her my phone throughout the race day, and she'll kind of post videos on my story of like kind of live action moments of just getting out of the car, like live raw emotions. So I think she'll do that for the first part of the night, and then when the main event starts, she'll probably go up in the stands and the Dirty Danita section. There you go. That's kind of some of the traditions I think that need to come back. And we missed a lot. Things changed and COVID came and people started getting, doing different things or going different directions. But we need to get that atmosphere back at places like Paris Auto Speedway, where you had Dirty Danita and the dancers and all that stuff going on in the stands. And people that attracts and gets people out to watch new up-and-comers like her son, Drake Carty, run
Yeah.
tomorrow night.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we need the crowd back for sure.
100%, man. I know you got a lot of people to thank on this deal of that, your dad, all that. Tell everybody, you got about a couple minutes left. Tell everybody who made it possible for you to make this start.
Yeah, it would not be possible without my parents for sure. My dad and my mom. And then my big sponsors, iBox Springs, Off-Road Performance, vehicles. You can do any type of on-road vehicles, trucks, cars, SUVs, spring lift kits. And then, of course, Tom and Christy Dunkelhorst, for a lot of me, with Inland Rigging and Tom Dunkel Racing. And then Jake Swanson Shock Technologies, Maxima Racing Oils, BR Motorsports, King Racing Products, and Rapid Wraps. They got our wrap going this week. And then some of their sponsors, Maverick Transportation, HBC, and Trailhead and Chiropractors.
You got it, man. And all seriousness aside, no pressure. Just go out there and have some fun Saturday night. You don't have to prove that you're the next coming of whomever. Just go out and be Drake Carty, and you'll be fine. Good luck out there tomorrow night.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just going out there to learn. Hopefully, just roll back in, and I'll call that a good night.
You got it. Have a great race out there. Maybe I'll see you out there tomorrow night.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
You got it. Drake Carty, he'll be racing, making Sprint Car Bay out at the Salute to Indy at Parasito Speedway tomorrow night. Great tradition. Goes back a long ways, back to the 50s, I believe. Maybe it was early 60s. They started out at Ascot Park. And a lot of great and famous racers have won that race, even some Indy 500 winners, I believe, of that. And we need to get that. We need to get the fun back in things. And just like I was, we have to have some fun with that. But like his mom, Dirty Danita, used to run the dance, or used to be leading the dance contests out there when her husband, David, who's, raced out there for many years. And we need to get that, again, we need to get that camaraderie, that excitement, that's what makes people want to come out. And even overall, don't make stuff boring. Boring is bad. We got to have some fun because Lord knows there's enough idiocracy going on at times that we have to deal with. But go out and have some fun. If you ain't got nothing planned tomorrow night, go out to Parasito Speedway for the Salute to Indy. Just a couple miles east of the 215 freeway on Ramona Expressway. Just head there. You'll see the Lake Paris Fairgrounds. Pull in, buy a ticket, have some fun, have a hot dog and a beer or a Coke or something, and have one heck of a time. We all deserve it. And again, remember what this weekend and Memorial Day weekend is about. It's about the 1.5 million that have fought, bled, and died for our country, to give us the opportunity to live in the greatest country in the history of the world in the greatest times in the world. And we don't ever forget, don't ever let their memory fade from you, and don't let their lives that they gave up for you, for the opportunity you have, to be in vain. Whether you're having a barbecue or just hanging out with family or going to Salute Indy or watching the Indy 500, watching the Coke 600, which will be highly emotional with the passing of Kyle Busch unexpectedly. Just remember what this weekend's all about. And go out there, no matter what, have fun and get after it like nobody's business. That'll do it for this week. As we usually say at this time, it's mandatory you'll be back here at 71 Hours Why. Be the best darn show in the whole wide world. Until then, see ya.
The preceding was a paid program. Views and claims.
Quit hitting the wrong buttons.
All right, Roy. That's all right.
I don't know. I guess I don't know if I get a. Thing of it is, if I don't hit something hard, it doesn't react, and then sometimes when I hit it hard, it just seems like it torches stuff off like something else. Me and these electronics, I don't think we'll ever get along.
Yeah, well, they do have a mind of their own. So.
No, stamp that 111%. That's why I'm afraid of artificial intelligence. They don't need to make it any smarter.
Well, yeah, you should be. I'm definitely afraid of it. It's not good in my view. All right, well, have a good weekend, Roy.
We'll see you on Monday.
Bye.